A loan request was blocked twice, a dropped England call-up, and a manager who buried him on the bench. Everyone in English football was writing him off. Everyone except one man. Thomas Tuchel sat down at a press conference in September 2025 and said something nobody else was saying. The kid was not the problem. The situation was. So what did Tuchel see that everyone else missed? To understand the fall, you have to understand the rise. And the rise was not slow. Kobbie Mainoo joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 9. By 16, he was a regular for the under-18s. In 2022, he was one of the youngest starters in the side that won the FA Youth Cup, alongside another name you might recognise, Alejandro Garnacho. January 2023, senior debut, 17 years old. There is a story that captures everything about Mainoo at this point in his career. February 2023, Wembley, the Carabao Cup final. Manchester United have just won. Erik Ten Hag spots Mainoo on the side, pulls him aside, and tells him that even though he was not in the squad that day, his time would come. The manager was right. By November 2023, Mainoo was making his Premier League debut against Everton, man of the match. By December, he was a regular starter. From late December 2023 to the end of that season, he started every single game United played, except one. Think about that. A teenager, just broken into the first team, starting almost every match for one of the biggest clubs in world football. And he was not just there to make up the numbers. He scored a stoppage time winner against Wolves after a mazy run through midfield. He curled in a stunner against Liverpool. Then, in May 2024, he scored in the FA Cup final against Manchester City to win his club a trophy. Gareth Southgate called him up to the Euro 2024 squad. He started the final. Though England fell to Spain that night, his composure on the biggest stage of his life was not lost on anyone watching. Paul Scholes, the Manchester United legend, the man whose midfield boots Mainoo was supposedly being asked to fill, said this kid was poetry in motion. He compared him to Zinedine Zidane. By the summer of 2024, the consensus was simple. Kobbie Mainoo was the future of Manchester United and the future of England, both at 19. And then everything stopped. The 2024 to 2025 season is when the cracks appear. Manchester United as a whole are struggling. Erik Ten Hag's project is unravelling. The team that finished 8th the previous season is now somehow getting worse. And when a team is in freefall, the youngest players tend to fall hardest. Mainoo's form dips alongside the team. The expectations on him were never realistic. You cannot ask a teenager to single-handedly fix a club this big. But that is what people had started to do. Then in November 2024, Erik Ten Hag is sacked. He is replaced by Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon. And here is where the tactical problem becomes the actual problem. Amorim has one system, a 3-4-2-1 formation. 2 central midfielders. That is it. No third midfielder, no box-to-box runner pushing up between the lines. 2 players in the middle, and one of them needs to sit deep and protect the back 3. Now think about how Mainoo plays. He is a roaming 8. He drifts. He picks up the ball deep, carries it through the lines, gets into the half spaces, arrives in the box late. He needs a system that gives him license to leave his position. Amorim's system does not give anyone that license. Casemiro takes one of those 2 central midfield spots. Bruno Fernandes takes the other. Mainoo is on the bench or on the treatment table. Because the injuries arrive too. 17 matches missed in the 2024 to 2025 season. He returns from one knock just as Amorim takes charge, then suffers another in April 2025. By the end of the season, he has started only 4 matches since April. Season sees him come on for a stoppage time cameo, a year after starting an FA Cup final and scoring the winner. The story tells the story. 37 appearances in all competitions in 2024 to 2025. Sounds fine, but only 23 of them were starts. and the average minutes per game was 56. He was a substitute. He was a squad player. He was no longer the kid Paul Scholes compared to Zidane. Mainoo asks for a loan move in summer 2025 to get minutes elsewhere. United say no. He starts the new season on the bench. None of the first 3 Premier League games. He asks again before the window closes. United say no again. This is the context Thomas Tuchel walked into when he sat down at that Wembley press conference. Tuchel had taken over from Lee Carsley earlier in 2025. He had 2 camps under his belt and 35 different players were called up between them. He had seen a lot and he had to make a squad selection for the World Cup qualifiers against Andorra and Serbia in September. Mainoo was not in it. When the question came, Tuchel did not duck it. He did not give a corporate non-answer. He said something that, if you were paying attention, told you exactly how he saw the situation. He said the way Mainoo had played for United during his breakthrough was impressive, that it was a logical step for him to play for the country, that he had played fearless football with the excitement that youth brings. Then Tuchel said this. I am paraphrasing because I will not quote him at length, but the substance is clear. Mainoo is now experiencing the other side of being young, the pressure, the changes within the club that are not in his favour. He is just lacking minutes. He does not lack anything else. He has the experience. He has the power. He has the quality. He is on our list. Read that again. Tuchel did not say Mainoo had regressed. He did not say he had lost his way. He did not say he had been overrated. He said the kid was missing one specific thing, game time. Everything else was still there. This is a manager doing the most important part of the job. Diagnosis. Because there were 2 stories you could tell about Kobbie Mainoo in September 2025. Story 1. He was a flash in the pan. He had a hot 6 months at the back end of 2023 and the start of 2024, and the Premier League had figured him out. The bubble burst. He was not actually that good. Story 2. He was a young player with elite quality stuck in a tactical system that did not suit him, at a club going through chaos, recovering from injuries, with no path back to the lineup that he himself controlled. Tuchel chose Story 2, and Story 2 was correct. Let me show you why Story 2 was the right read. First, the tactical fit. Amorim's 3-4-2-1 formation was not designed for a player like Mainoo. Casemiro at this stage of his career needs a partner who covers ground, defends in transition and protects him. That is not Mainoo. Mainoo is a creator, he is a carrier. Putting him in a 2 with Casemiro asks him to do work that is not his strength. Putting him in the 10 role behind the striker takes him out of midfield entirely. There was no good slot for him in this team. Second, the injury record. 17 games missed in one season is significant. And when a player returns from injury, what they need is consecutive minutes against varied opposition. They need rhythm. They need their body to remember what 90 minutes feels like. Mainoo got none of that. He came back, played a few games, got injured again, came back, sat on the bench. The cycle of broken rhythm is its own injury. Rhythm matters. Third, the age. He was 20 years old when this conversation was happening. 20. He had played 1 full season of senior football. The idea that you can write off a midfielder at that age based on 12 difficult months is laughable. The midfield position is one where players genuinely peak between 26 and 30. Mainoo was in the foothills. Fourth, and this is the one most people missed, the quality had not gone anywhere. The first touch, the body shape, the press resistance, the vision. These do not disappear in 18 months. These are the parts of a player that get built over a decade and last forever. Quality remained. Tuchel saw all of this. He named it correctly. The problem was not Mainoo. The problem was the situation Mainoo was stuck in. And the only way out was for the situation to change. January 2026. Amorim is sacked. The club turns to a familiar face. Michael Carrick, interim manager until the end of the season. Carrick was a midfielder for Manchester United, 5 Premier League titles, a Champions League. He played the position, he understands the position, and he had worked with Mainoo in the youth setup years before. First game in charge. Carrick reverts to a 4-2-3-1. He abandons the back three. He restores Mainoo to the starting 11 alongside Casemiro. Manchester United beat Manchester City 2-0 at Old Trafford. Mainoo and Casemiro dovetail in midfield. Bruno Fernandes plays as a 10 where he is supposed to play. The shape works, the team works, and the kid in the middle of the park looks like the player Paul Scholes was talking about 18 months earlier. Carrick goes on to start Mainoo in 12 of his first 13 games in charge. After 0 Premier League starts in the entire first half of the season, suddenly the kid is a fixture in the 11. What changed? Not Mainoo. The system changed. The trust changed. And Carrick said publicly that his approach was about giving Mainoo the freedom and the platform to be the best version of himself. That sentence is doing a lot of work. Freedom, platform, 2 things. Mainoo had under Erik ten Hag in the second half of 2023 to 2024. 2 things he did not have under Ruben Amorim. The moment they returned, so did Mainoo. Manchester United climb the table. They secure a return to the Champions League after a 10-year absence. And then, in the very week he signed his new contract, Mainoo scores the winner against Liverpool at Old Trafford. 3-2. The goal that confirms European football is coming back to the club. The same player, the same fearlessness, the same kid Paul Scholes could not stop talking about. And in March 2026, Thomas Tuchel calls Kobbie Mainoo back into the England squad for the first time in over a year. In April 2026, Mainoo signs a new contract until 2031. 5 years, long-term commitment, the club calling him a centrepiece of the future. Tuchel was right, the kid just needed minutes. Now we get to the question that actually matters. The 2026 World Cup is on the horizon, England are qualifying, Tuchel is building a squad, and Kobbie Mainoo is back in the picture, having missed almost a full year of international football. How well is he going to do at the World Cup? Does he start in the group stage? Let me think through this honestly. The case for Mainoo starting is straightforward. He has played in a major tournament final at 19. That experience is irreplaceable. He has the technical profile England has been crying out for in central midfield for 2 decades. A press-resistant carrier who can take the ball under pressure and break lines. A young player who is not afraid of the moment. Tuchel said in that September 2025 press conference that the squad needed to play with a different feeling, a different energy. He talked about creating an identity. He wanted bravery. He wanted freedom on the ball. He wanted players who could overcome a low block in central midfield. Listen to that list of qualities, then look at how Mainoo plays. He is the answer to the brief. The case against is also real. He missed 18 months of consistent international football. The competition for places in central midfield is fierce. Tuchel called up Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton in that September squad. Both impressed. Conor Gallagher exists. Declan Rice will not move. Jude Bellingham, when fit, picks himself. So the realistic question is not whether Mainoo gets in the squad. He almost certainly does. The question is whether he starts the first group game. And here is my honest read. He probably does not start game 1. Tuchel is a careful manager. He tends to reward consistent club form going into tournaments. By the time the World Cup arrives, Mainoo will have had roughly 6 months of consistent first-team football under Carrick, or whoever Manchester United appoint as a permanent manager. That is good, but it is not as much as some of his rivals will have. Anderson and Wharton are likely to be ahead of him in the pecking order based purely on accumulated minutes. But here is what I think actually happens. Mainoo starts the second or third group game. England rotate, manage minutes and look at different combinations. Mainoo gets a chance against a weaker opponent, he plays well, and by the time the knockouts arrive, he is one of Tuchel's most trusted options. Why? Because of one thing. When the games matter, Tuchel will want technical security in central midfield. He will want a player who can take the ball when the opponent presses. He will want someone who does not panic. That is not always the player with the most minutes. That is the player with the highest ceiling under pressure. And on his best days, Kobbie Mainoo's ceiling is as high as anyone's. The Euro 2024 final is the proof. 19 years old, on the biggest stage of his life, and the kid played without fear. That memory does not leave a manager. Tuchel knows it, Carrick knows it, the senior players in the dressing room know it. Will Mainoo start the World Cup final if England get there? Genuinely, I think there is a real chance. Will he start the first group game? Probably not. Will he be a key player by the end of the tournament? That is where I would put my money. I want to close on something bigger than Kobbie Mainoo. There is a tendency in football, and especially in English football, to declare young players finished the moment they hit a difficult patch. The hype machine builds them up at 18. The pressure crushes them at 20. The narrative shifts to disappointment, and by 22 everyone has moved on to the next prodigy. What Tuchel did in that September press conference was push back against that cycle. He said the quiet part out loud. The kid is fine. The situation is broken. Fix the situation and the player comes back. How many young English players have we lost because nobody around them did that diagnosis correctly? How many careers stalled because a manager confused a tactical mismatch for a quality drop-off? How many writers and pundits buried players who just needed a different system, not because of anything he did, but because Manchester United changed managers, and Michael Carrick understood midfielders? If Amorim had stayed, Mainoo's story might have ended differently. He might have been sold cheaply to a mid-table club. He might have been lost. The lesson is that young players need stability, sensible systems, and managers who understand them. The cliche is that talent finds a way. The truth is that talent needs a path. Mainoo had the talent the whole time, he just needed someone to lay the path back down. Tuchel saw it before most people did. He named it. He kept Mainoo on the list when it would have been easier to drop him entirely. And when the path opened back up, he called him back in. That is the job. So when you watch the World Cup in 2026 and Kobbie Mainoo comes on in the group stage, or starts in the round of 16, or controls the midfield in a quarter-final, remember the September 2025 press conference. Remember the manager who got the diagnosis right when everyone else was writing him off. Tuchel was right about Kobbie Mainoo's real problem, and the kid is about to prove him right twice. If this is the kind of breakdown you want more of, the next video looks at the 3 other young midfielders Tuchel has been quietly building around. Players who could change how England play in 2026. Until then, watch the games, watch Mainoo, and remember where this story started.